monster in your ears, boy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Texas Sports World. I'm your host, Ethan Moley, and we are here to discuss quite a few things going on in the sports world. But first, we're going to do a little side note, a little side excursion. So it's been a freaking week so far, and it is barely even Saturday. I guess that's the end of the week, but it's kind of like the beginning of my week because my work week is weird, whatever. I got a day job, So yeah, yesterday I'm on my way to work, running a little bit late, just a little bit late because the sleep was delicious. So I was running just a little bit late. So I'm on my way to work, driving. I feel a little rattle in my window area on the passenger side, and I'm like, maybe I got a cup rattling around in there. Maybe I got a cup. I gotta get to shut up so I can drive in peace. Well, it goes away for like 6 seconds, right? I'm like, cool, maybe I got it. Then all of a sudden, there's this black flappy thing in my window, looked like the thing in front of the car sales, just going crazy. And I'm thinking, and then it's like, brrr, and I'm like, what is happening in my car right now? I'm just trying to go to work. I just want to go to work. This is crazy. And yeah, so basically, I had to spend 3 hours at a car shop yesterday getting new tires and a whole thing. It was a whole thing. Yeah, so that's how my Saturday went. A lot of y'all were out watching the softball team put a whooping on OU Sucks with the last throw of the game, throwing it to home plate for the out. It was a crazy sequence. That was wild. So that was going on the 40. Then you had a couple of visits going on as well. We just we got a commit from a running back. Watched a little bit of his film. I believe his name is Ricky Stewart. I could be wrong. I didn't do a whole lot of research, clearly, but I did do some. I watched a little bit of his film. He's deceptively fast. He's not super fast. He's more of a he runs a little high right now for my personal opinion. Runs a little high, but he can get away with it at the high school level. With just being a pure athlete. So that's not that big of a deal running high at that level. That can be coached. That can be changed. When you got Tashard Choice as your running back coach, good things are bound to happen, as we have seen in the past. Also, before we get started, I know I keep going back, but as you can see, I got a new little intro and I got a little outro coming for you later. That was super fun. So, and then at the bottom of your screen, don't forget to visit the website, visit the Twitter. I don't have any TikToks up just yet. Hopefully I'll have some up here shortly. Just, little bits and pieces that I come up with throughout the day that aren't really worthy of a full video. So be sure to check that out at TexasSportsWorld.com, and then it's Texas Sports World without the O in world on Twitter, and then the TikTok is Texas Sports World. So yeah, be sure to subscribe. Follow those, and see what's coming up. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. So things are starting to pick up on the 40 acres. We were kind of in like a little lull period, a lot of recruiting going on, a lot of behind the scenes work. And, like I like to say, I have all the opinions and none of the inside access. So yeah, that's what's been going on. They're going on a little bit, in spring practice. I believe they had their first big scrimmage yesterday where a lot of recruits came out, were able to catch that. And, by all accounts, coming out of the coming out of the scrimmage, there was one name that kind of popped up, and it was Jaydon Blue. I've been standing on this hill, and I will die on it. This cat is really good. I feel like he's put on a lot of good weight. He just looks chiseled, man. He just looks ripped, absolutely ripped. And, I think that you're going to have I spoke about this a little bit before. Hold on. Let me get my dog here has decided to play with the one squeaky toy we have. So give me just 1 second here. you even get that toy? You got all these toys. There you go. She found the one squeaky toy that we hadn't even given her yet. She likes to tear her toys up, so we got to like give it to her in shifts. You know, and she gets one toy, she tears it all up, and then we'll give her another one. But she has this thing where she likes to go in there and get the squeakies out of them and just chew on the. Is that a normal thing for dogs? I don't know. This is yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna bounce around a little bit here. So yeah, that's what was going on the 40. You had a scrimmage. Jaydon Blue really showed out. Apparently, the offense has kind of had the heads up, the advantage so far. Just in terms of pulling one over on the defense. But it's a zero-sum game at this point, so don't read or don't think too much into that. But at the end of the day, like I said, I've been standing on this Jaydon Blue hill for a while, and I really think he could be a lethal weapon in within this offense. And then you add in CJ Baxter, who's more of your true. I feel like CJ is more of a true running back. He's more of the running back that's can run between the tackles really well, break tackles. Really good in space, all those types of things. It really seems like he's a true bona fide running back. Jaydon Blue, he kind of falls personally in the athlete category. He can catch the ball. He can, he's really quick. He's got really quick feet. He's really good in tight spaces. He can, make a guy miss in a phone booth. And those are all things that'll benefit not only him, but this offense and how Steve Sarkisian wants to, call things. So there's that, the scrimmage, Jaydon Blue, all that's good. The softball team, putting one to OU, that's great. And I haven't really spoke on the basketball team's early departure from the tournament. I know it's weeks ago. It's kind of late, or well, not weeks ago, but it's been a while. But personally, I didn't have a whole lot to say. I wasn't surprised. I wasn't confused or anything like that. It was more of a yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've been trying to tell y'all that maybe Rodney Terry isn't, the type of guy you want running your basketball team right now. And that's fine. I think Rodney Terry is a coach that can coach a team that's already been built. I don't know if he's a coach that can coach a team that he's built. And I think there's a very serious distinction between that. The team he had last year was he a coach on the staff? He didn't just show up. He was there already. So he had a part in building that. But when you play on a team, we saw when he plays on a team with all the players he built, all the team he built, the guys that he went and got in the portal, it wasn't a great picture. I mean, you got Kendall Weaver, who really, really came on strong later on in the year. Max A. Smith, he was just up and down. He wasn't consistent. He'd go out and score 30, but then he'd come back and score 6. And you're like, what? Where did you go? And then, Tyrese Hunter, who was just really inconsistent. He'd go like 8 points one game, 10 points one game, and then he'd drop like 26 or 30. And you're like, what are we doing? And then, he'd go on another 4 or 5 games where he just didn't play that great. And then he'd, go nuclear and he'd be great. So consistency is the problem there. And right now it kind of feels like next year's team is going to be even more different than this year's team. In the sense that, Hunter's probably going to be gone. Mitchell's probably going to be gone. Dessou's definitely going to be gone. So those are your 3. Brock's going to be gone. So that's 4 guys right there. And this is only 15 people, and I'm sure I'm missing a few others as well. There's probably going to be transfers. We're just now, we're kind of just now starting the off season for basketball. And, we'll try to keep up with, the ins and the outs, different things that are going on within the basketball world. And try to figure out what this team is going to look like next year. Now, moving on to a couple other things. I'm still dealing with some crazy allergies right now, and it is messing with me. I feel like I'm talking like this. It's very weird. Anyway, so usually I think from here on out, I'm going to do a little bit different today, just for content. But later on, I think leading up to the draft, I guess for the next 2 weeks, I guess we'll have two more until draft day, or yeah, two more weeks, 3 more weeks. And I'm gonna try to do a mock draft Monday. We're gonna I'm gonna break down the picks, why I think that's gonna go that way, why I think this person should be the pick, so on and so forth. Give my analysis on why I think it'll go down the way it'll go down. And I guess we can kind of sort of, get into that. I'm gonna go ahead and give just a second to log in to my PFF and Pro Football Focus so I can do this mock draft. I should have logged in earlier, but I didn't. So bear with me here. NFL draft, mock draft simulator. There we go. Okay, so present, share screen. I'd like to record this computer screen. Oh. Share. All right, so. Cool. Cool. All right, sweet. So, of course, we're gonna. You know what I'm feeling? I'm feeling frisky. We're gonna do a 7-round one. Obviously, we're gonna pick the Texans. How do we want to do this? Do we want to do a public or PFF? Let's do half and half. Or is this? No, this is half. Yeah. All right. Care for positional value. I feel like in this year, I feel like recently there's been more of that in terms of like the running back position, and stuff like that. Let's go draft for needs, and I don't want to do random. All right. So this is how I got it set up right now. We're gonna turn it down just a little bit to kind of keep in touch, keep an eye on who's been picked. All right, here we go. All right, and start draft. Obviously, Williams, May, Harrison. Okay. Dallas Turner going a little bit earlier than I would have anticipated. Okay, Nate Wiggins. All right. Byron Murphy. All right, we are up. Oh, my God. I was getting Fisk. That was who I was going for. Tragic. Okay, so we know that we need corner help. We know that we need help at corner. But I think first we're going to have to look at the defensive tackle position and see what's still available there. Okay, so Rook Orahoro. Let's see here. All right. Where did he line up at? Snaps by alignment. Okay, so he was in the B gap. Okay. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna go with Chris Jenkins here. I really think that coming from a Michigan program that played really stellar defense in the interior line, that was kind of their strong suit. I think that, yeah, we're gonna go with Chris Jenkins. I think that adding that interior help, that run defense, he's a really good run defender. Solid pass rusher as well. And he really started to come on at the end of the year when playing. He seemed to play up to his in all the bigger games of the year. He started out the year okay. Really had a rough center. Obviously, that Michigan State game was a big one. So we're gonna go with Chris Jenkins. So this is gonna be a no trades. I might do that eventually, maybe in another one. But we're gonna do straight up no trades. Although I think you do see a New England or a New England or a I'm drawing a blank right now. Cardinals. There we go. Golly, Arizona. I think that you could see one of these two teams move down, just because I don't know. I mean, the report did come out saying that New England would need a hefty offer in order to move, which is totally, whatever. But really, I'm really looking at the Cardinals. I really think the Cardinals could move back, just because of how deep this wide receiver class is, and just because you could see like in this one, it kind of seemed like it was natural. Like people have JJ like this would be a good spot for McCarthy to go in. I feel like, and a good team, both of these, But I don't think these two fall. I think Jaden Daniels, is going to go to Washington at 2 probably, and then I quite honestly think you're going to see a run of quarterbacks at the front. I think the front half of the drive, you're going to see a run of quarterbacks, and then you'll start to see the run of receivers, and then you'll start to see, you know, the cornerbacks come off the board as well. But right now, let's get back to where we are at. We are here. Okay. So there's been a lot of talk about Edge Cooper at linebacker, and I think he's solid. But I think that my personal favorite is, hopefully he's still here, is Jeremiah Trotter. Out of Clemson. He's one of my favorites. He's one of my guys in this draft. But since we have that pick coming up, that's right. No, we don't, because we already picked. It was Chris Jenkins. Okay. So I think we got to go linebacker here. And, but there's an Xavier Worthy on the board. Folks. Nah. We gotta stick with it. We gotta stick with our stuff. Stick with our game plan. Obviously, I would love to get an Xavier Worthy in an offense with Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell and Nico Collins. Holy crap! But let's look at this Junior Colson real quick. Haven't seen too much on him. Okay, so he's a run defender and a cover guy. Not very good on the pass rush, but that's fine. We're not looking to pass rush at the second level as a linebacker. Didn't miss a lot of tackles, which is good. This is why PFF is a little weird, because you're going to have a cover grade of 83.4, but a passer rating of 90.6, which is tied for 259, which is not great, right? So that's a little odd. So that kind of tells me something. So we're gonna go with 88. I might be able to pick him at 86. So actually, we are gonna go with something else here. I still think it's too early for a cornerback right now, just because I feel like it's too early for a receiver, just because there's certain receivers in that third round that I really like. So let's look at this Kyrie Jackson. He really came on in 2023. He wasn't very good 2 years prior to that. He's a true corner, as you can see by his alignment. He didn't line up very much in the slot or in the box. Um, all right. You know what? I don't know. This is difficult. This is one of the harder ones. Usually, I kind of know exactly where I'm going to go before I get there. But this one's a little bit harder. I'm going to go with nope, 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 nope. Gotta stick right because there's one receiver that I want. I know he's going to be there in the third. So I know I want Trotter in the third, and I know I want a receiver in the third. Or I know okay, so we only have one. All right. You know what? Let's go with we're gonna go with Trotter. We're gonna go with Trotter this one. Jeremiah Trotter out of Clemson. Probably a reach in most views, but I really think he's gonna be a really good linebacker at the next level. Oh, fudge, man. I knew I didn't look good enough. I just saw Andre Schlett. See, here he is. Here's who I want. This is the guy right here, Malachi Corley. He's another one of my guys. I also like Bucky Irving as well. I really think he's another guy that can really make a difference in space. He's got really quick feet, really good hands out of the backfield. Um, really solid running back. All right, let's see. Okay, here we go. Hmm. All right. I think I'm gonna go with see, he's just so good. Man, I was gonna go with Tyrone Tracy, but you know, you there's a kind of a history with Nick Caserio trying to go get, you know, obviously Purdue is still a Power Five school, but you're talking about Notre Dame, so we're gonna go with prestige on this one and go ahead and get. Okay, so this might come as a surprise to a lot of people, but I really think that our guard position is kind of the most suspect out of everybody right now. And I've been watching Cooper Beebe play in the Big 12 for years, as I'm sure a lot of people have. Um, and what really is the pass block grade and then the zone grade. So he's a really good and then true pass set grade. So he graded out very very well, throughout the year. So and he plays left guard. Um, which is it's odd that he didn't play any snaps at the other guard position. But that's fine. You get left guard. You could play opposite of Shaq Mason, so that'll be good. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna draft a guard here, Cooper B. We got a wow. Here we go. All right. So we got a running back. Okay, so it might be a little weird to draft 2 running backs within the same draft, but Cody Schrader, I really liked him. I really like him coming out of Missouri. Um, really, really solid athlete. Um, let's see. But for the sake of argument, oh look, there he is, Frank Gore Jr., Jason McClellan. See, and the running back class is very quietly pretty deep because like Chase McClellan from Alabama, he was good. Like he was a good running back, and it's very odd to me that he's so low. Because I mean, he was a good running back. He didn't reach 1,000 yards in his career as a rusher, um, but nonetheless, my eyes tell me that he's a physical runner. He can run between the tackles. He's shifty, got quick feet. Um, so that's interesting that he's so low. Okay, let's look at a tight end because I feel like we really need we have Brevin Jordan, and we have Dalton Schultz, but we really need a blocking type tight end, the tight end that can really get in there and do the dirty work. See, poor run blocker here. Jared Wiley, Texas X, formerly of TCU. So there's not a very deep tight end class. It leaves a lot to be desired. So okay, yeah. So I think we're gonna, if there's a Ben available, I think we might take that. But so for the lack of really, talent left in this draft pool so far, I'm gonna go with my favorite. I'm gonna go with Cody Schrader. I know that's because he feels like he's the opposite. All right. So we have back-to-back picks. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Three interceptions, only one touchdown allowed, 10 incompletions. I good cover grade. Let's see. He's kind of lines up everywhere. He can line up as so okay, yeah. We're gonna do this one. We're gonna do this guy. He kind of lines up everywhere. He play in the slot. He looks like he played a lot in the slot, which would help, which would obviously make the 10 incompletions more feasible. Um, passer rating. I mean, not great, not terrible. So we're gonna draft a safety here. Got 2 picks left. We drafted. Well, we didn't draft a receiver. Oh, we did. Yeah, Malachi Corley. Drafted a receiver, drafted a D lineman, drafted a linebacker. Technically, we didn't draft a corner, so maybe we kind of throw a bone here late in the 7th. This guy actually looks. I mean, I obviously they were going strictly off numbers, and PFF's a little weird with theirs. They don't give you any explanation for it. It's a little not the greatest, but it does give you the numbers nonetheless. You can kind of draw your own conclusions from there. So I'm probably going to need to do a little bit of film watching on this guy right here, DeAndre Prince from Ole Miss. But nonetheless, we need to draft a corner. Well, albeit it's the 7th round, so it's not the greatest of value, but you at least give yourself a chance there. All right, last pick for us. So I had been in my previous mock drafts. I had been going with Kenny Logan from Kansas. Just because he was, I watched him play. He's really solid. Keaton Oladapo. He's a really good safety. One of the highest graded safeties in college football last year. But for this one, I think we're going to try to shore up and get some help on that interior line. We're going to draft Andrew Rame. Now let's see what our grade is here. Loading. I don't know if y'all can hear my stomach, but apparently I'm hungry. Gotta warm up some chicken from the other day or something. I don't know. Got some chicken express over there. Okay. So the top of the draft didn't grade out that well with Chris Jenkins and Jeremiah Trotter. This is probably because he's probably more of a 3rd round guy. But I just didn't want to take a chance and miss on him. Now, granted, obviously you have trades and you could have picked somebody else who traded back in and got him, but I said I wasn't going to do that. This particular one, maybe we'll do that next. But yeah, so we got D lineman, linebacker, receiver, running back, guard, running back, safety, corner, and a center. That's a pretty well balanced draft in my opinion. Yeah, you double dipped in the running back pool, but at the end of the day, you need a hammer. Audric Estime can do that. He played very well in the zone scheme. And Cody Schrader, he's just an athlete who I think has a little bit more speed, a little bit more burst to him. So I think that's something that can, be very beneficial. Especially, we're at a point right now where all right, I'll go ahead and stop sharing. We're at a point right now where, you have so many. You have a lot of weapons right now. With Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell and Nico Collins and Joe Mixon and Dalton Schultz and John Mechie and the list goes on. So you can never have too many. You can never have too many tools. You can never have too many weapons in the bag. So adding these type of guys, adding the Audric Estime, adding the Malachi Corley, Cody Schrader, I feel like those guys bring a little bit of something you don't have to your team while also being exactly what you need, so those can be really good additions and can really make CJ Stroud's job a little bit easier. And then I went in and I got a guard in Cooper Beebe who's really good at pass protection, which kind of feels like that's the Texans are going more towards the. Hold on, I gotta do something with my nose here. Give me just a second. I'm back. Sorry about that. My nose is getting stuffy. So yeah, you add those weapons. Okay, yeah. So we're talking about the Cooper Beebe. So he's it kind of feels like the Texans are kind of going to more. Initially, we thought that they might be more of a San Francisco type of deal with a lot of under center, a lot of motions, a lot of different formations, a lot creative, different things like that. And they did a lot of that, and they will continue to do a lot of that because I think Joe Mixon is a better running back in an I formation, not I formation, but behind the quarterback rather than lining up next to him. So it looks like they're going to try to go more towards the Bengals route of things, where they kind of open it up a little bit, spread the ball around, get the ball to different guys. That kind of feels like that's the type of offense they're kind of going towards. So with that in mind, you want to try to shore up that interior defense, that interior offensive line, in order, to protect that asset that you have at quarterback in C.J. Stroud, right? So you had Cooper Beebe, who graded out at like 90% in pass protection, which is really, really good. And then you also you grab a center. Obviously, it's a little, the quality isn't there, just because of where he was drafted in the 7th round. But you have another center in Juice Scruggs, he played guard, but he's probably going to play center. So you have another center in Juice Scruggs, who is second year in the league. So you hope that there's a step there. So you're not drafting a center asking him to come in and play right away. So you kind of give yourself that cushion to add a center in the draft, and it not be the complete end of, the answer to all your questions. You're like, okay, here's your 7th round center. Now go play starting center in the NFL. No. So having Juice Scruggs makes that draft pick a little bit easier to do. So you shore up the offensive line, add some depth there. You add a receiver, add a couple running backs. It feels like that those positions are one of need. Obviously, you probably would like to draft a corner a little bit higher in the draft. I think Nate Wiggins, obviously he's going to go super high. I think if he starts to fall, I think that's a guy the Texans are interested in. So that's kind of my feelings about this particular mock draft. I think obviously you want to get maybe instead of Chris Jenkins, you get a Tavondre Sweat. If he starts to fall, or maybe he's Tavondre Sweat in the 2nd with pick 59, rather than Jeremiah Trotter. Maybe you get him in the 3rd and you trade back up and get Corley late. There's different things you can do there. So that's my mock draft for today. I'm gonna, let's see, what time is it? Oh yeah. The Houston Roughnecks of the UFL play at noon today, I believe, or is it noon or 4? It might be 4. So just my quick thoughts on the UFL. I really like it. I really like the quality of play. I really think that the quality of play is there. It's kind of weird because you got college and NFL right now, and it feels like money. The idea of money has a stranglehold on those two entities. It feels like the love of the game has kind of escaped. It's not, people don't enjoy the product on the field as much as they used to anymore, because it feels very commercialized. It feels very, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like football anymore. Don't get me wrong. I'm still going to talk about it. I'm still going to cover it. I'm still going to do all those things. But it feels like the UFL has really done a great job of the type of players they brought in. It's the fringe 53 man roster guys. It's the practice squad guys. And you think, when they play, and you sign those guys to an NFL roster, and those guys play, and you're like, man, that guy sucks. Turn on these UFL games. You can't really tell a difference in quality of play. Granted, obviously, yes, there's a difference, but it's not like a night and day difference. There's still big plays being made. There's still crazy plays happening. Players making crazy plays. So it's a solid start, I think, and I think it's. I hope that it never gets tied into the NFL. Like my fear is that the NFL kind of looks at it and they try to make it the G League. And I don't want that. I want it to be separate. I want it to be its own thing, its own life. Obviously, and if player, and because it gives more opportunity for players to go to the NFL, right? So, because right now it's the eval period. for a lot of NFL teams, right? They're looking at the draft guys. Well, now you have a whole other crop of guys you can look at for the UFL guys who 5 years ago you would have never seen before. They would have just been on the street. They'd have been at home, right? And now they're playing in meaningful games, making big plays, playing good football. So you have that. It really feels like, and what I like about it is the intimacy of the UFL. They put you in the headset of the coordinator, the quarterback, the refs. There's accountability. If somebody, they take you into the booth with the when they're doing reviews, you hear what's being said. You hear because a lot of times, in the NFL, things will be reviewed and then things happen. Like, how did you come to that conclusion? Where did that come from? That can't be right. Right. So it gives a little bit more clarity, and it makes you feel like you're a part of the game. It makes you feel like you're a part of the game. It makes it easier, like they actually spell out the names of plays. So if you want, you can record the game, listen to the play, write it down, watch the play, dissect what each part, and you can start to create like a whole new way of looking at and digesting these teams. And it provides a new hunger. It gives a new set of analysis to the game. And I think that's really exciting. And that's something that I think, if the NFL did that, I wouldn't hate it. I'd be very excited about it. I want to see what they're talking about in the booth. I want to hear what what the process is. Maybe it'll give me more of an idea. I can predict easier. I can understand a little bit more as a fan, So that's my plan today. My plan is to sit right here on this couch, drink a couple cold ones, and watch some football, which is love the sound of that. I love the sound of watching football. And the good thing about the UFL is like, I think it's not a lot of teams. It's not a lot of teams right now. It's only like 8 teams, like XFL and a UFL division, right? Under UFL, which is kind of weird to me, but so you have 8 teams. And don't get me wrong, I'm from Houston. The Roughnecks are going to be my team. I'm going to try to watch them as much as I can, get an idea, get an analysis on them. But it doesn't feel like there's too much of a fandom right now where you can't watch other games and be like, I would never watch a Cowboys game, but right now it feels like I could. Yesterday I was watching the Renegade, the St. Louis game, and I think it might have been Dallas. Dallas Renegades and the St. Louis something. And I just enjoyed the game. I enjoyed watching the game. I enjoyed watching AJ McCarron throw a deep pass to Marcel Aitman for a touchdown after Dallas had just went down to take the lead, so there's storylines there. And it feels like we're not really talking about money. Nobody's worried about how much money each guy is making. I couldn't tell you how much AJ McCarron is making, but I could tell you how much Stephon Diggs is making. I can tell you how much, you know what I mean? So like there's levels to this. It feels like the XFL is a more pure football game. It's about the football and not about the people playing football. Well, I guess in a way it is about the people playing football because it's about the guys who wouldn't have had a chance if the XFL or if the UFL wasn't around, right? But the biggest thing is it feels like is the quality of play is really high, and I think you'll see a lot. I mean, you might even see players leave the NFL to go play in the UFL, because for whatever reason they might whatever it might be. So that's kind of my initial thoughts on the UFL. I really like it. I really think that it'll be around. I don't think it'll fold after 1 or 2 seasons. There seems to be a hunger for it. I mean, there's 40,000 people at the St. Louis game. That's more people. That's more people that came to Texans games last year, and the Texans went 10-7 in the NFL. So the hunger is there. I hope it sticks around. I really like it. I like the intimacy of it. But that's kind of so let's kind of give a little roundup. Went through the mock draft. I'm going to try to do them on Mondays. I know it's Sunday. So, hey, I might hop on here and do another one tomorrow. Probably will hop on here and do another one tomorrow. But I really wanted to get on here and do that. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Don't forget, again, go down here, click on the websites, go follow the Twitter, follow the TikTok. I'm going to try to get some content up on all of that today. So be on the lookout. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video so far. But once again, this is Texas Sports World. I'm your host, Ethan Moley, and I will see y'all later.
I ain't with that beefing on the net. Tell me what's next. Tell me what's next. I can't listen to the hype.